The Devil in the White City by Erik Larson, reviewed by me. Brief summary. The book The Devil in the White City covers the murders and the architectural scene that went on during the building of the 1893 Chicago's World Fair. Author's main purpose. Erik Larson's purpose for writing The Devil in the White City was to portray the lengths at which people will go in order to achieve their desires, and he accomplishes it by contrasting the lives and the desires of his two main protagonists, Daniel Burnham and H. Holmes. Main topics are persistence, motivation, and pride. Persistence. Larson portrays persistence through the character George Washington Gale. Ferris wants to build something to rival that of the Paris Eiffel Tower, and his unwillingness to give up on building his Ferris wheel at the fair despite his repeated rejections by the committee earns him the right to finally be able to build his dream structure after putting all the time and motivation into it. Motivation. Larson portrays motivation throughout his book through the characters Holmes and Burnham. Burnham's persistent motivation throughout was not only to improve the overall look of Chicago, but to earn a name for himself. And Holmes' motivation for his consistent murders was to feel a sense of power during his victims' final moments. And the picture over there is a picture of the Grand Court during the World Fair. Pride. Larson portrays pride through Holmes and Burnham. In the novel, Burnham's pride stems from his insecurity of being rejected from Harvard and Yale, and this insecurity makes him want to prove himself all the time, so he has a sense of pride in proving himself. Holmes' pride stems from his self-confidence, which leads him to believe that he can't get caught. His self-confidence of being able to get away with the murders, being able to pull the women he does. Evidence. Erik Larson uses actual accounts of evidence and quotes that happened during the time of his book to back up his main topics, as mentioned above. For example, the Holmes Heitzel case by Detective Greer, that's his memoir, and Holmes' own story, Holmes' memoir. And by using sources like Thomas Hines Burnham of Chicago, 1974, to cite sources such as Burnham not making it to Yale. That's the book. American History and Something New. I discovered two interesting things about this novel in American history. One of them being the existence of Chicago World Fair and its grandeur. I did not know that existed and how significant it was to Chicago. And second of all, the fact that the Panic of 1893 occurred at the same time. To think that a World Fair, which its main purpose was to bring money, was occurring at the same time of a panic when banks were closing, rails were failing, etc. Least and most favorite parts. Least favorite part was the progression of the making and formation of the fair prior to its opening, including the conflict between the National Commission and the Exposition Company over finances. I found it boring because it was mostly uneventful. Although there were some tensions on whether the fair was going to be completed on time, it did not excite me as much as Holmes' scenes. My most favorite scenes I enjoyed overall were the sections covering Holmes' manipulation and killings. I especially enjoyed watching him kill and manipulate Minnie and her sister, because watching his mind work, watching how he plans things out, that was very interesting, and that was very, very interesting to find out why he did what he did and his workings behind what he did. I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing. This is before the prologue by Holmes, and this was a quote that stuck out to me. This quote stuck out to me because it perfectly captured Holmes's way of thinking. He believed that he was the way he was because of the devil. Based on the time period he made his confession, I can only infer that he blamed his evil machinations on the devil as an attempt to still tug on people's hearts. By blaming his murders on that of the devil, seeing as people during the time were highly religious, he makes the public think that his crimes are not entirely his own fault. Overview. My opinion, it was well written. The reasons I believe it was well written was because it had sophisticated yet easy words that made it easy to understand what he was writing and what he was conveying. And there was a captivating murder story, learning about Holmes' murder, that was very interesting. And there were conflicting characters, yet the overall theme stayed the same because Burnham was pure and his intentions were pure, and all he wanted was to prove himself, while Holmes' intentions were bad to get more power, but both of them had the same motivation. They had the same motivation in the fact that they were motivated to do something, not that they were working towards the same goal. My recommendation would be a 9 out of 10. I would recommend this a 9 out of 10 mostly because I really enjoyed the book, but -1 because of the architectural parts. It wasn't that interesting, but the murder scenes and the murder aspects of the books were. Thanks for watching, and by the way, that is a picture of the Palace Mechanic. Thank you.